Going on, y'all? It's DG back with another video, and today going to be going over the top 10 hoop shoes are good for those who play power forward, even small forward or center. So let's get right into it. As always, this is based on my personal opinions playing in all of these basketball shoes. If you want to get any of these shoes, go to the link in my description below. It is an affiliate link. We are on Nike.com right now, and basically what I did was just picked out 10 shoes that I felt like were good for big guys. Number 10, this is the LeBron Next Gen AMPD. You can also opt in for the regular LeBron Next Gen. Those are honestly, I feel like a little bit less stiff than these, but it's hard to find the Next Gen nowadays, so I wanted to keep it to shoes that are somewhat available. But the reason why these are ranked at number 10 is because it is still a stiff shoe. It's very supportive. It's just pretty stiff, right? I feel like a lot of big guys today may want something that is a little bit more mobile, but it does have good cushion. It has solid traction. It's just hard to play in this shoe, at least for me, just because it is a little bit stiff. Like I said, that was the entire point behind the Amplify, the AMPD right here, but it comes in great colorways, guys. I just think that the other shoes on this list are quite, a little bit better at least. So this is at number 10. This is not a bad option if you want something very supportive that is somewhat of a mid-cut of design as well. It's just not as mobile as the other options in my opinion. So starting at number 10, we do have the LeBron Next Gen Amp. Some of these colorways are going on sale as well. Like this I Promise one is really nice. Even for 20% off, you're gonna get this for like a little over 80 bucks. Even the first game colorway inspired off of the, Air Zoom Generations. A lot of these colorways are going on sale. So I would say if you are getting these, definitely get the one that's on sale because that's when it's more worth it. At number 9 is the Nike GT Jump 2. And the reason why I put this at number 9, and the reason why it's better than the Amped Next Gens is because I do feel like it just has more cushion. It's more comfortable. So I think a lot of big guys may like these. I actually hoop with someone who actually wears these and he really likes them. Very bouncy. It's good for his knees. He's about like 6'4", so he actually really likes these. And for big guys, I think like this is better for you in terms of just jumping. It also feels more mobile to me. Like the materials are much more flexible. So this is why it's better than number 10. And the reason why it's like all the way back on the list is because it has like no court feel at all. So that's the reason why I put it so, high on the list or low, depending on how you think about it. But it is a good shoe. If you need something, if you're like a big guy who doesn't really move that much and who, dunks even or just stays in the paint a little bit, then I do think this is a good shoe for you. This is what Nikola Jokic was wearing before he left Nike and signed with 361. It's a good shoe. It is also on sale. And, I see some guards at the gym wearing these, like they're a comfortable, bouncy shoe. It just doesn't have court feel. And I feel like a lot of big guys may need a little bit more court feel. So, this is at number 9. It's still a good shoe. Again, if you are to get these, please get them on sale. Number 8 is the Air Jordan 38 Low. I feel like it's a little bit of a combination between the previous two. It mirrors the GT Jump 2 in a way where it has more cushion. Like this does have zoom in it, and then it is a little bit like the Next Gen Amps in terms of like it's still kind of a stiff shoe. Like it is a little bit narrow, so if you are a wide footer, you may want to go up half a size. It's not the most court feel shoe in the world. Like you still have a lot of cushion in this shoe, but the traction is very good. It's just very expensive, so that's also why I've ranked it at number 8. If this was like 80 bucks, then probably it would be further on the list. But in terms of just pure performance, I think this is a great shoe for a big guy, all things considered. It just, it has a good balance of everything. I just think the other shoes on the list are more practical to buy, especially if you're a big guy. But yeah, these are a solid shoe. I actually really like these. It just has a lot of cushion, not the best court feel. It looks really good, but it's also very expensive. So if you have money like that, then feel free to buy these if you need that full length zoom. But if not, there are other options on this list that I think are more practical to get. At number 7 is the Luka 2. Not only is this shoe very, very cheap and practical to buy, but it's also a very nice court feel shoe. It has an adequate amount of cushion. It's definitely better than the Luka ones for sure in terms of cushion. We can debate about the looks and colorways all we want. This is a Team Bank, but it is like a good supportive shoe as well. Support is definitely the highlight of this shoe. Like you have that plastic on the side, that sidewall. The shoe is very supportive, especially for lateral movements. So if you need a combination of cushion, court feel, and support, this is really good. And it's pretty easy to break in as well. I think for the Jordan 38, you really have to break that shoe in, especially if you're a wide footer. But for these, like they're much more seamless experience. And I feel like these are much more easier to play in. I think you really need to break in the Jordan 38. The GT Jump 2s are just like, if you're not used to not having any court feel, maybe hard to play in. And then the next gen amps are just like very stiff, especially to start. And these are just cheaper. They're really nice, honestly. And if you have that, like, you know, if you have a big frame but need some cushion and are somewhat mobile, then I think this shoe is flexible enough and has a good balance of like everything that you're looking for. So that is number 7 on the list, the Luka 2. Now it gets to the good stuff. So at number 6 is the GT Hustle 2. The reason why it's at number 6 is because this has full length zoom in it, and it's a very comfortable shoe to play in, especially as a big guy. And I think it's better for bigger dudes because I feel like the, you know, kind of like lateral support in these isn't the best. Like going straight, you know, running down the court or just doing simple movements is fine in the shoe. But when you're doing like crossovers like Allen Iverson or stuff like that, or if you're more of a shifty player, it may not be the best, although it's still solid for that. But this shoe is very comfortable to play in, and the traction is good. It's just an easy, fun shoe. You know, you weigh a certain amount or you're on the bigger side or just taller, then this shoe honestly is like really good, especially for the price points that you may be getting these for. Like this one's below $100 with the code, and it's a full size run. It's a solid colorway, Christmas colorway. Like this is the type of shoe that I would recommend because it's so nice and fun to play in. And I do like these over the Lukas simply because it's more comfortable, and honestly the traction is very good as well. So if you're a big guy, you know, small forward, and this shoe is very light, it's mobile, right? It has a lot of positives to this shoe. The only downside I would say is like if you're more of a shifty type, like a guard, then this may not be the best option, at least for me, right? This is all based on my personal opinions. But again, this video is for the POV of a big guy, so I think big guys will like these more than guard. Keep in mind, this is like Zach Edey's go-to shoe. Like he wore the white GT Hustle 2s in the tournament and they're like completely beat. So this is like his favorite shoe, so keep that in mind. So if you play like Zach Edey, then you'll probably like these. So at number 5, the reason why I'm putting this in the middle of the list is because this is more of a guard shoe, but the reason why it's on the list is because I think it is still viable for a big guy. And the reason why is because this shoe is very versatile. It's just like the only thing in the perspective of big men is that the cushion is still thin, right? The cushion is still thin. I know they put Cushlon 3.0 in here. I know they have a 4-foot zoom unit, but it's still thin. You can still feel it. But for those who play, you know, like a guard and you're just still big, then I think you'll like these. So that's why it's in the middle of the list. It's still a very good shoe, but the first colorway sold out. This one is still coming soon. And I think that other shoes on this list is more practical to buy. Some of these shoes ahead of these are cheaper and kind of feel more comfortable, to be quite honest. But this shoe is still good. Traction's very good. Support is very good in this shoe. Has a good balance of everything. Like it's hard to beat this shoe. I wouldn't say it excels in one category. It's just like slightly above average in everything. So I do like this shoe for big guys. It's just like there are other shoes on this list that I think are also very good. Speaking of which, the Zoom Freak 5 continues to be very underrated, and I think this shoe is very good for big guys. You guys see the Zoom Freak 5 All-Star colorway is only $85. Let's see, yeah, some of these are 20% off on the sale as well. So this shoe is just cheap, and unlike the Sabrina 2, I think this shoe is more comfortable. It just feels, yeah, the cushion in here, it does have Cushlon in this shoe and zoom, so it is still very comfortable. It's not as low to the ground, slightly not as low to the ground as the Sabrina 2, but it's still very good. The reason why people aren't playing in this shoe as much is because of the aesthetics, to be quite honest. When this shoe first released, people weren't liking the aesthetics, and sadly, that's just the reality of it. But this shoe is like a budget, like honestly, it's like a budget Kobe 5. And I was talking to the designer of this shoe, and he's like, yeah, like this reminds me of the Kobe 5 too. So this is it's a lightweight shoe. I would say that the traction isn't the best. Especially on dust, you do have to wipe this shoe. Look at how close the grooves are together. That's where the Sabrina 2 beats the shoe. But again, as a big guy, right, like depending on how much you move, then this shoe has a little bit more cushion than the Sabrinas. It has more core feel than a lot of these shoes actually, besides the Luka 2 and maybe the Sabrina 2. This shoe is somewhat comparable to the GT Hustle 2s in terms of comfort and playability, but it's honestly cheaper in some colorways. And I didn't even mention the team colorways. I think those are going for like 50 bucks. And also, you know, it's a signature basketball shoe with like 2 layers of cushion. And honestly, these I think look better than the GT Hustle 2s as well. So performance wise, it pretty much checks off all the boxes. Just watch out for the traction on dust. But overall, this shoe is very good. So this is why it's so high on the list in my opinion. All right, the top 3 are very, very good. And it's kind of hard to differentiate them. But at number 3, I'm gonna put the KD17. And honestly, you can like interchange these top 3. So please don't get offended, guys. But I put the KD17 at number 3 because it's just a great shoe. You know, it fits slightly long. It's not the same. It can't be the same last as the 16 or the 15, in my opinion. Like my foot does not fit this shoe the same. And it's just, it feels like the 16, but honestly, it comes in better colorways so far. Like this Metro Boomin one, please get them before they sell out because they're selling out right now. And it has great court feel. You know, it's pretty much the same cushion setup as the 16. So if you played in those, you'll be good. It's comfortable. Great traction, great traction. I really like the traction in the shoe. And overall, if you fit this shoe like 1-to-1, unlike I do, then this shoe might be number 1 on the list. But right now I'm gonna put it at number 3. But again, you can interchange these top 3 guys. It just depends on what you like. So the highlights of the shoe is definitely traction and court feel. At number 2 on the list is the GT Cut 3. Now this shoe is one of the most versatile shoes that Nike has, because not only is it like made for a guard, right? The GT Cut is marketed for guards, but this shoe changed the cushion setup where it's full length Zoom X, which is the first ever in a basketball shoe. And it has a slight heel to toe drop, but it's so adequate. You can really feel that Zoom X, and it's somewhat bouncy as well. So you combine the great traction in the shoe, very squeaky as well for those who like that. You combine, you know, this fits pretty well as well. Like it's not a tight fitting shoe in my opinion. It's not like a 1-to-1 fit. It has some room for wide footers, which is good. It still fits true to size at the end of the day, but I'm just mentioning that because I do have a wide foot. So I always think about the fit in that way where if it has a little bit more room, I like it. But this shoe, it's comfortable. It fits well, especially for wide footers. And I think a lot of big guys have wide feet, and the traction is good. It's just like the cushion is the differentiating factor. These are more bouncy than the KD17 for sure. The KD17 is more flat. These are more bouncy. So depending on what you like, then you can choose between these two. But this shoe is just fun to play in. It's like the GT Hustle 2, except kind of on steroids, to be quite honest. In my opinion, this is just way better than the GT Hustle 2s. Yeah, in almost every way. I guess the GT Hustle 2s have more court feel because these, you know, are more, they lean towards more like running and heel to toe transition, where the GT Hustle 2 is more flat, in my opinion. But I do like these. I do like these a lot. These are definitely number 2, and these are not limited to just big men, right? This is how I think good of a shoe this is, how solid, especially at these price points. When you add 20% off this price, you're getting them for around 100. So this is at number 2. At number 1 is the LeBron 21. This shoe is great. It is just very supportive. It's full length cushion, and the traction is great. That is the synopsis on the shoe, and it looks great, and it's on sale, guys. This might be the best looking shoe on the list by far. It comes in the great colorways, like this All-Star Queen Conch. You have this diver colorway, only $100, guys. This is a steal. This is why it's number 1. Yeah, it has the best colorways. Out of every shoe on this list. So when you're considering everything, this is probably the biggest steal that you can get as a big guy, because it covers you in terms of support. The entire shoe is kind of like built on support because they wanted to make it a little bit more beefy for LeBron. And overall, the traction is good. Cushion is full length. I would say that it's more, it's not as lightweight as like a GT Cut 3, right? That's one of the downsides. It's not as mobile as that shoe, but if you're still like, if you're a big guy, like you have the strength to like move around, right? Like if you want the lightest shoe in the world, then get the GT Cut 3. But I do like this shoe a lot. This is definitely deserving of the number 1 spot. And I keep saying this in all of my Nike.com videos, but this is low-key an underappreciated shoe for the colorways that we're getting and the prices that they're going for, because These are great colorways, full size runs. So if you're a big guy who's looking for probably the best balance of everything, this is the shoe for you. If you want something more minimal, get the GT Cut 3. If you want something that like looks like a Kobe and is minimal but has like a pretty thin slab of cushion, to get the Sabrina 2. If you want something that's like just super easy to play in but doesn't have that much cushion, not as supportive, then get the GT Hustle 2. I mean, I don't want to say this doesn't have cushion, but it's just like not as supportive. It's just a very fun, easy shoe to play in. The materials are very flexible as well. These bottom three, like, I don't know why you would get this over the LeBron 21, to be quite honest, especially when these are retailing for that. Like, I put these at the end for a reason. Luka 2, like, you know, you have an argument here. It only costs $72. Freak 5, you definitely have an argument. It's low-key a cheaper version, but I don't think the traction's as good as the top 3 on this list, right? So you really have to like think, you know, watch this video back if you guys need to, but this is my top 10 right now. An honorable mention is the GT Hustle 3. These have not released yet, but I don't know, based on the pictures, it looks very comfortable and the traction does not look bad. So unless Nike really messes this up, then I think this will be a good shoe as well, but it also retails at $190, and I still have to test them to give you guys like an accurate opinion. But overall, these are my top 10 basketball shoes from Nike for big guys. So if you guys enjoyed this list and these types of videos, please leave a comment down below and let me know. Follow me on all socials at DG Hoops. Go to the link in my description. It is an affiliate link that helps me out if you are interested in getting any of these shoes, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.